How can little Israel rule a big world like this? Not possible. Either Israel has to expand and become big like the United States to rule the world, which is not possible. Why? Because Israel is located in a sea of Islam. All around is Muslims. Or the second possibility is that the world has to become smaller. Which one will it be? Will Israel expand and become so big, or will the world contract and become smaller? What does the Quran have to say? The verse is in Surah Al-Isra, Surah number 17 of the Quran. And listen to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to say. This is Ilmu Akhirul Zaman, or the study of the end time. وَإِمْ بَعْدَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ وَإِمْ مِنْ قَرْيَةٍ إِلَّا نَحْنُ مُهْلِكُوهَا قَبْلَ يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ أَوْ مُعَذِّبُوهَا عَذَابًا شَدِيدًا كَانَ ذَلِكَ فِي الْكِتَابِ مَسْطُورًا. And there is not a single town or city that will escape, but we will destroy them all. This is the Quran. This is not Hadith. This is Quran. There is not a single town or city that will escape, but we will destroy them all before Qiyamah. And those which escape destruction will be punished with severe punishment. And this is something inscribed in the book. This verse of the Quran is warning us of great destruction that is to come to the world. There are other verses of the Quran, but we don't have the time to turn to them on the Malhama. And then there are the ahadith which speak very specifically, like that one which says that 99 out of every 100 would be killed. We are now located at that moment in time when a day which is like a month is coming to an end, and a day which is like a week is about to begin. If we go back now to that moment when Pax Britannica was giving way to Pax Americana, there were big wars in the world. They call it the First World War. They call it the Second World War. That's the name they have for it. For me, they were European wars, not world wars. But these were wars in which the world experienced destruction like never before in history. I was born when the Second World War was taking place. Yeah. Millions and millions of people were killed, particularly Europeans, in those world wars. So in order for Israel to replace the United States of America as the ruling state in the world, you don't need a PhD to know that not only does Israel have to take over for the US dollar, and new money has to come that Israel will control, but also there will be great wars. Who will the wars be fought against? There are two forces in the world, two, which stand up to resist Israel. Who are they? Number one, the followers of Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, those whose Qibla are in Mecca, because, forgive me for saying so, don't be annoyed with me, we have people whose Qibla in Washington. Forgive me for saying so, don't be annoyed with me for saying so. There are people who prefer to hold on to the US visa than to be faithful to Islam. My US visa is more important to me than being faithful to Allah and His Messenger. Forgive me, please forgive me, but I have a job to do. The big war which is coming will attack Muslims because they are the ones who are standing up to Israel, and another people are standing up to Israel. Who are the other people? The answer is to be found in Surah Al-Ma'idah. And this is the most important ayah I'm quoting today. So listen carefully. Surah Al-Ma'idah, which is the 5th surah of the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns of a time which is to come, in which He says, لَتَجِدَنَّ, you will most certainly find in time to come, أَشَدَّ النَّاسِ عَدَاوَةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الْيَهُودِ, that the Jews will become the people with the greatest hatred and hostility and enmity for you. That time will come. وَالَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا, that in addition to the Jews there will be another people who will display the same hatred and enmity and hostility for you. And they will be a people whose total agenda is shirk. Everything connected with them is shirk. Example? Shall I give you the example? You don't mind? Well, Allah speaks in the Quran about Yawmul Jum'ah. Yawmul Jum'ah. إِذَا نُودِيَ لِلصَّلَاةِ مِنْ يَوْمِ الْجُمْعَةِ فَاسْعَوْا إِلَى ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَذَرُوا الْبَيْعَ. When the call to prayer is made on the day of Jum'ah, give up, shut your business down and go to the masjid. Jum'ah, Yawmul Jum'ah, the day of Jum'ah. This is the name that Allah has given in the Quran, Yawmul Jum'ah. They changed that name and they've given a new name. And the new name is Friday. In the English language, in Friday. In French is Vendredi. In Spanish, what is in Spanish? Anybody know Spanish? Huh? Viernes. Friday, check it out, is the day for the worship of Fry. F-R-E-I. Who is Fry? It's a Scandinavian goddess. The day for the worship of a Scandinavian goddess. The days of the week like that, the months of the year like that. January, February, March, all that stuff. So you are going to be attacked by two people. The Jews and another people whose agenda will be constantly shirk. And at that time when this manifests itself in the world, at that time, وَلَتَجِدَنَّ أَقْرَبَهُمْ مَوَدَّةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّا نَصَارَى. That at that time when the Jews become most hostile of all to you, I'm sorry to have to be repeating again and again, and when these people, this civilization of shirk is hostile to you, waging war on you, at that time you will find that those who will be closest in love and affection for you would be a people who say, we are Christians. Allah didn't stop there. He went on to tell us something more about the people. Which Christians are these? ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ مِنْهُمُ الْقِسِّيسِينَ وَرُهْبَانَ وَأَنَّهُمْ لَا يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ. This is because these Christians are a people who have monasticism, the monastery, the monk, the monastic way of life. And because they are not an arrogant people. They are not an arrogant people. They don't want to rule the world. They don't want to transform all of mankind into carbon copies of themselves. If I have a curry chicken and rice in front of me, curry chicken and rice, and I wash my hands, and I roll up my sleeve, and I start to eat my curry chicken and rice with the cutlery that Allah gave me, the fingers. These arrogant people will say that is an uncivilized way of eating. No, civilized people don't eat like that. And my response to them is, you can take your civilization and throw it in the Red Sea. I don't care a fig leaf. Sorry for raising my voice. I don't care a fig leaf for you and your views. It is arrogance on your part, that you want to transform me into a carbon copy of yourself. That I had to put on jacket and tie to be civilized, to be in respectable company, jacket and tie. In the Caribbean, in this heat, tropical climate, and you see the fella in suit and jacket and tie, you should send him. It's a madhouse. This is for my audience outside of Trinidad. So you have a people who have arrogance in them, that they want you to live the way they live. They want you to be transformed into carbon copies of themselves. But these Christians who will be closest in love and affection for you Muslims are not an arrogant people. They don't have the agenda of ruling the world. And they don't have the agenda of transforming people into carbon copies of themselves. So which Christians are they who are holding on to this day to monasticism, the monastery and the monastic way of life, the monks? Answer, we have Abdul Qadir here to answer you. He was Orthodox Christian. The Christian world has two parts. One is that part of the Christian world which celebrates Christmas on the 25th of December. And then you have the other part of the Christian world which celebrates Christmas on 7th or 9th? 7th of January. 7th of January. That other part is called Orthodox Christianity. And this part is called Western Christianity. But I call it, this is the only part of the world where you're not allowed to have a beard. Except one man. He's allowed to have a beard. Everybody else must shave off the beard. You can't be in the police service and have a beard. No. You can't be in the armed forces and have a beard. You can't work in a hotel with a beard. No. But this fella is allowed to keep his beard. And he comes once a year, flying on a reindeer. Flying on a reindeer, once a year. So this is Santa Claus Christianity. The Orthodox world don't have this Santa Claus Christianity. When I went to Russia, I found so many people with beards. Yeah, Orthodox Christians with beards. So, Orthodox Christianity also has monasticism. Russia is the leader of Orthodox Christian world, Russia. And I found so many beards in Russia. My host who invited me to the State University of Moscow was Professor Alexander Dugin. And Alexander Dugin had a big beard sitting next to me. The two people who are going to be a threat to Israel are Muslims and Orthodox Christians. Do we find Orthodox Christians in the Quran? Yes. There's a whole surah. It's known as Surah to Rum. Surah to Rum. Surah number 31 perhaps. And look how it begins. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ألف لام ميم. غُلِبَتِ الروم. Rome has been defeated. في أدنى الأرض, in a land close by. So a battle took place at the time when the Quran was revealed, and there was no Washington at that time, and there was no NATO at that time, so we can dismiss that nonsense. A battle took place at the time when the Quran was being revealed, and Rome was defeated in a land close by, close to Arabia. وَهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ غَلَبِهِمْ سَيَغْلِبُونَ. But Allah is prophesying. He is saying that the tables are going to be turned. فِي بِضْعِ السِّنِينَ, in just a few years' time. Rome is going to be victorious. وَيَوْمَئِذٍ يَفْرَحُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. On that day when Rome is victorious, the Muslims are going to celebrate. The Muslims are going to celebrate when Rome is victorious. Who is Rome? Rome is the Orthodox Christians who had the Byzantine Empire in Constantinople. And today Russia is the leader of Rome. Greece is also in Rome, Armenia is in Rome, Bulgaria is in Rome, and so on. The reason why nuclear war is coming is because in the world of Islam there's only one Muslim country with nuclear power, Pakistan. But Pakistan is a little lightweight. Lightweight. But Rome is also a major power because Russia is a nuclear power. And Israel cannot succeed the United States and become the new ruling state in the world unless and until Pakistan submits to Israel and Russia submits to Israel. The way today Pakistan is submitting to the United States and to Saudi Arabia, the government of Pakistan. We have a Pakistani here. But the people of Pakistan are not prepared to submit to Israel. When Saudi Arabia attacked Yemen, was it 2 weeks ago? Saudi Arabia led an alliance and took with her Abu Dhabi, UAE, and Egypt joined in and so on. And Saudi Arabia made a formal request to Pakistan to join in the attack on Yemen. Saudi Arabia, the richest country in the region, And Yemen, the poorest country in the region. The richest has launched an attack on the poorest of all. The government of Pakistan is a shoeshine boy of the Saudis. That's what Nawaz Sharif is. A shoeshine boy of the Saudis. And this lecture is being recorded. It's going to be on YouTube, and they're going to listen to it in Pakistan. The government of Pakistan is a shoeshine boy of the Saudis, and the Pakistan armed forces are also led by shoeshine boys who will sell themselves for US dollars. Their Qibla is in Washington. I make no apologies for this language of mine. No. Somebody has to speak out. But if Pakistan joins the attack on Yemen, what will be the implications next door with Iran? Because Pakistan is already facing a hostile India on this side, and you now face a hostile Iran on that side. So the shoeshine boys in the government of Pakistan decided to put the matter before the National Assembly. Let them decide. The Saudis, of course, were furious. The National Assembly debated the issue and unanimously rejected the Saudi demand. Unanimous. So the people of Pakistan are hostile to Israel, but the government of Pakistan always betraying them. In the case of Russia, it's different. In the case of Russia, what they did was, the Jews, the Russian Jews, were the ones who, you would not know about this, is history, the Bolshevik Revolution, and then they brought something called communism and the Soviet Union. But this was done by the Russian Jews. Yes. And they created the Soviet Union to destroy Orthodox Christianity. And thousands of Christian monks and priests were killed. Monasteries were shut down by the Soviet Union to try to destroy Orthodox Christianity. They brought an atheist state to the Soviet Union. But they planned, and it didn't succeed. And when the Soviet Union collapsed in 1988 to 89, somewhere around there, since then, Russia has been returning to Orthodox Christianity. It's not complete yet. A return is still coming. And as Russia returns to Orthodox Christianity, Russia refuses to bow to the Zionists, refuses to bow to Washington. And that is why they'll have to wage war on Russia and on Pakistan, so that Russia does not survive as a nuclear state and Pakistan does not survive as a nuclear state. I was attending a conference in Tehran in Iran in last September. What to do? How do we prepare for a big war? What kind of world is it going to be when nuclear war takes place? Again, it is Surah Al-Kahf, that you have to flee out of the cities. Flee out of the cities, get out of the cities, because the cities are going to be destroyed. A city with 20 million people. Those who die in the war are the lucky ones. Those who survive are the unlucky ones. Why? Because a city of 20 million people cannot feed itself. No. The food has to come from outside. And the line of communication and supply are going to be disrupted. So when 20 million people, or what is left of 20 million people, want food, they're hungry, they want water, they have no water. And this frantic search for food and water turns violent. You wouldn't want to be there at that time. This is what Surah Isra is talking about. That those towns and cities which are not destroyed, will punish them with terrible, terrible punishment. And from the time that that revolution took place, I have consistently praised Imam Khomeini. I have also said Imam Khomeini, Rahimahullah. I have praised the revolution in Iran as a step in the right direction. And I have praised the people of Iran who came out in huge numbers. Millions of them came out to demonstrate on the streets of Iran against the regime of the Shah. And eventually, after the regime of the Shah had killed, I don't know, maybe they killed 1 million Iranians, eventually the regime collapsed. And Imam Khomeini returned to Iran as a triumphant leader, leading his people to freedom from oppression. And I commended them, I applauded them. And I also said that Iran has set the model for the rest of the world of Islam. That if the rest of the world of Islam is ever to win freedom from oppression, it will be by a similar process of the masses coming out on the streets to demonstrate against oppression and evil. If this had been done in Pakistan and consistently, today Pakistan would be free and Imran Khan will not be in prison. But the people of Pakistan suspended it. If this had been done in Egypt, in Morocco, in other countries, the world of Islam would have experienced more freedom if they had followed the Iranian model. And all through the years, these last 46 years, I've always consistently praised Iran, particularly for its foreign policy. That Iran has consistently stood up with courage and integrity to support the cause of the Palestinian people, Christian as well as Muslim, against Israeli Zionist oppression. And Iran has suffered as a consequence of standing up for truth and justice. I have always supported Iran for the wisdom of its foreign policy of building fraternal ties with Russia to such an extent that now Iran is a strategic partner of Russia. And Iran has complemented that with building important ties with China as well. But most of all, I have always admired Imam Khomeini. Imam Khomeini, who did what no other leader ever did. Imam Khomeini stood up, pointed his finger at Washington, and with incredible courage and integrity, he pointed to Washington. He said, "This is Shaitanul Kabir." Nobody dares to do that today, not at all. So I have supported and complimented Imam Khomeini and the Islamic Revolution in Iran. And my critics have said, Imran Hosein is Shia. These are schoolboy responses. No, I'm not Shia. And I have differences with the Shia belief system. But I admire the revolution in Iran. However, I now today must make some comments concerning Iran, which may hurt some of the leaders in Iran. But I don't do it as an enemy. No. I'm not doing it as an enemy. I'm doing it as your brother who loves you. And your brother who has always stood by you. I've visited Iran many times. Whenever I have visited Iran, I've always been welcomed in a loving way. They've always treated me with kindness and love and shown respect for my scholarship. I hope that that will not change today when I offer the comments which I now am going to offer for the first time. The people of Iran, who are all 50 years of age or younger, must be described as the children of the Islamic Revolution, because the Islamic Revolution took place 46 years ago. So those who were 5, 6, 7 years of age at that time were children, and those who were born since then, all of these 50, 55 years of age in Iran, you have to be described as children of the Islamic Revolution in Iran. And so today we have to address not only the children of the revolution, but those who were old enough at the time of the revolution to participate in it. The world of Shia Islam responded in 1979 by recognizing the Islamic Revolution in Iran for them to be a validation of the Shia belief system. The Shia belief system differed from ours. Our belief system is that the Khilafah state was established by Nabi Muhammad والسلام, after it was established by Nabi Dawood السلام, and Nabi Sulaiman السلام, the prophets David and Solomon. The second Khilafah state was established by Nabi Muhammad والسلام, in Medina in his lifetime. And he lived for 10 years and then he died. But the Khilafah state did not collapse when he died. The first Khilafah state collapsed when Nabi Solomon alayhi salam, when he died, it collapsed. And the Israelite people were weeping after the Babylonian army came and destroyed the state of Israel and took them in bondage or slavery to Babylon. And they were weeping by the waters of Babylon because they had lost the Khilafah state. But our Khilafah state, which was established in Medina by Nabi Muhammad survived when he died. And we recognize that it survived with integrity. When Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu became the successor of the Prophet to lead the state. And after him, Umar radiallahu ta'ala, Umar ibn al-Khattab, became a successor to Abu Bakr Siddiq and became the ruler of the Khilafah state, and so to Uthman ibn Affan, three of them, and then Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So our view is that the Khilafah state survived with integrity, while these four Khulafa ruled over the Islamic State. And the world of Islamic scholarship have honored them by referring to them as Al-Khulafa Rashidun, the rightly guided leaders. And then we found the forces of counter-revolution emerging in the body of Islam, with the monarchy emerging, family rule emerging with Muawiyah and with his son Yazid. And then came that epochal moment in our history when the grandson of the Prophet, Allah's blessings be upon him, was martyred in an event that is unforgettable. And what they did to him and to his head after he died, in the same way that the kidnapping of Nicolas Maduro took place, because it was ordered by Trump. So those American soldiers who landed in Caracas and did the kidnapping, of course they'll have to pay for that. On Judgment Day, they'll be judged. But the mastermind who ordered it is Trump. So on Trump, I'm telling you this message, President Trump, prepare for Judgment Day, when you'll have to stand up before Allah and you'll have to answer for the kidnapping of Nicolas Maduro, who was the president of Venezuela. And I'm sorry for you on that day. Similarly, it was not the army which killed Imam Hosein at Karbala. They, of course, will have to answer on Judgment Day. But it's those who sent the army. In this case, it was Trump who sent them. In that case, it was Yazid. And Muawiyah was the one who put Yazid where he is. And he has a responsibility for the martyrdom of Imam Hosein. But what happened in history is that the sectarian movement emerged as a consequence of what happened in Karbala. And a new belief system emerged that no, as soon as the Prophet died, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, the Khilafah state lost integrity as soon as he died. This is the Shia belief. The Khilafah state lost integrity because Abu Bakr Siddiq was a bogus Khalifa. This is correct language I'm using. And Umar was a bogus Khalifa. You can't criticize me for my language. This is exactly the language you use. And Uthman was a bogus Khalifa. And the rightful Khalifa should have been Ali. This is the divide between the Shia and the Sunni. But it's more than that. The Shia believe that this was divinely ordained, that Allah is the one who ordained that the Ahlul Bayt must rule over the world of Islam. And truth was left by Allah. When the Prophet died, he left two things. He left the Quran and he left Ahlul Bayt. And this is what you must use to be able to survive. So long as you hold on to the Quran and you hold on to Ahlul Bayt, you can never go astray. People will never stand up to demonstrate against you. No, not when you have the Quran